So, hello everybody. We are at Arrowhead Talks, and we are going to speak about Eclipse Arrowhead and to gain more insights into it. I'm together with Professor Jerker Delsing from Lulea University of Technology. He's the coordinator of multiple Arrowhead projects, and he's also the author of IoT automation Arrowhead framework. So we are going to go deep dive into what is this Arrowhead-based automation, because there are reports that says that we can get double-digit efficiency gains. So we are going to go through the why and how with Professor Delsing. So welcome, Professor, and nice to have you today with us.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me here.
Yes. Just to introduce myself, my name is Răzvan Crăciunescu, and I'm a professor at Polytechnica Bucharest. So the first question for you, it's what is Eclipse Arrowhead and why was it created?
Um, if I start with the second part first, why was it created? Um, there has been automation technology for decades in the world, and it's very clear that the what's called operational technology is very different from the IT technology. And there are different requirements, so on. This is the basic reason behind why that was created well before internet. But how do we harmonize? How do we bring these two words together? And that was the starting point of how do we use internet technology for process production, manufacturing, automation, with their requirements on real time, all these kind of things that internet is not experts in. That was the starting point for this. And at that time, it was also very clear that we were to choose some type of modern, more modern or very modern, this is 20 plus years ago now, our basic architecture that's connected to the internet world. And the choice went to service-oriented architecture, and I can detail a few of these things, why and what's the benefits of that, and
Okay,
and
thank
this
you.
talks.
Perfect. So I'm also writing what you say, so I have here my pen and paper. As far as I understood, Eclipse Arrowhead has some core services, to put it like this. Can you explain a little bit, or to do us a quick tour of this core tree?
Yeah, I will do. The service-oriented architecture is talking about the three L's: lookup, late binding, and loosely coupled. Fundamental properties of this, and to actually achieve these, we have defined and three different what we call core or mandatory. We consider them mandatory systems that you need to have in what we call a control plane to do the administration connected to this type of architecture. And this is the service registry to enable lookup, so you can discover your components, your services that's in there. It's the orchestration orchestrator that is enabling this loosely coupled and late binding thing. And then we have added authorization and authentication, which is security, which is more and more needed for obvious reasons, given the geopolitical problems we have on the globe for the moment, and the kind of hybrid war things that's ongoing. So those things have been there from the very beginning. And the beginning we're talking about is already way back in 2003, 2004. So it's more
Okay.
than 20 years ago.
Okay, so more than 20 years now. So if we are going from the, let's say, the theoretical and more broad to use cases in real life. There are companies that are using Arrowhead, and the question is here, of course, if you were in contact with them or if you know from other companies why they are using Arrowhead as their technology, and what are some benefits, use cases for real-time implementation. I think this is usually also with the students when we explain something. When you go through real life implementation, they say, "Ah, okay, so that's why we are learning about TCP/IP or whatever." So yes, what are some real life implementation and use cases?
Yeah, there is a number of smaller software companies that has started to adopt this, and there is a number of their customers who kind of really investigating why should we use this, what is the benefits for us, and all these kind of things. And it also clear that there is a number of kind of, if I put it, high-profile implementations using this type of architecture. The maybe most advanced one is that a company named Cinetic has won uh, in competition with others the contract with Scania to actually
Mhm.
build or replace their old MES system in some factories. And the first installment was, I think, now more than 3 years ago. Uh, and that was apparently that successful that they they are now redoing these things with other of Scania factories around the globe. Um, and this builds on this service-oriented architecture and is using the principles of Eclipse Arrowhead and so on. So it's
Mhm.
um, and since they get recurrent business because of this, something is not too bad, or it's
Yes.
apparently quite good.
Yeah, something is working there. Uh,
Yeah.
so yes, why or yes, why do you or why do you think is the best feature for a factory or for this type of implementation to go for Arrowhead? If you were to pinpoint to something that you also
Mm,
think that can make you money. So if I'm I don't know, I have a
mm, mm,
small business and I'm implemented thing IT infrastructure in a factory, how can or what's the main reason for me to go to for
mm,
Arrowhead?
mm. There is a couple of things since Arrowhead today has what we call a technology stack with these core systems that I mentioned a few minutes ago, and uh, a number of support systems, which is kind of helping you to uh, make your solution not as a big monolith, but rather as a set of smaller components, and where you also have mechanisms for kind of protecting certain areas where you need, for example, real time, or where you feel that you are uh, need to have security for various reasons. And these things are there. And there are a number of good examples of how to use that. So there is documentation. If you go to YouTube, you will find, I don't know how many videos we have there, but there is whatever, 50 plus videos of good examples on things and so on. So there is a number of these things that supports you to do this. And we also know that we have tried this in a number of large to very large European projects with double digits, so 20 plus industrial use cases with impressive results. So the average saving on engineering cost and time for these 20 plus, I think there were 26, whatever, was 80%.
Mm-hmm.
So and people are, oh, that's not possible. But it's not me, not the academia who have made the calculations. It's actually the companies themselves. And some of these companies have as well published, and it's available on YouTube discussions, their root cause analysis. So why did they save the money?
Mm-hmm.
Why did they save the time? So there starts to be kind of well-proven things and by people, professional people in the industry. So this is kind of what I say. This is good arguments and also provides that there is a number of examples where this has been tested
Yes, that's
in
great.
mining, in smart cities, in semiconductor production, etc.
That's great. When you said about YouTube, so we invite everybody to go to YouTube and to see that videos. I know that also my students are telling me that we are learning from YouTube a lot of things. So yes,
Yeah.
I think YouTube can be or is a great tool to go and see why Arrowhead and to see some very good explanation and maybe use cases. Also the number of projects is very it's a very good number, and also the fact that we have white papers from companies that were implementing and using Arrowhead. That's also a bonus. I know that in the industry, usually when you want to implement something, you go to the competition and look to their white papers and see what they did, so that it will be a more easily implementation for you, as this is in this sharing, how the Americans say, sharing is caring in the end. So
Mhm.
if I don't know if you have a failure turned lesson from everything you saw so far in Arrowhead implementations. I don't know, something that failed, but in the end, on the long run, that lesson was something valuable that help maybe go through version 2, version 3, or something like that.
Yeah. It's very clear that using this type of technology, you need to make it simple to install and to avoid pitfalls, and particularly around security, usage of certificates, these kind of things. And this is part of what is now focused by a number of players, both industry guys and academia. So we have, I know that the Hungarian company ITIA has very recently released a number of further support thinking, enabling the installation and kind of basic setup of getting this to run. So this is what we think is very, very important today. Plus that we have also made a kind of a thorough analysis over the years. This has been now, I think it's since 2016 we had proper releases of this, and we are just a few weeks ago, the version 5 of Eclipse Arrowhead was released with better documentation than ever, and also a lot of there is a continuous roadmap now. What is important to actually make this uh,
Mhm.
one of
Okay.
the most important developments for industrial automation or automation in society overall, since automation is very much what the digitization um, kind of developments in our society is targeting.
Yes, yes, yes. And now it's we have all these buzzwords nowadays, like agents that will automate everything. And so yes, automation is something that somehow I see the society it's converging to. So you also said the releases. So you are now in release 5. Usually
Yeah.
in companies, you have a team that is dedicated to do releases or to implement new features in a product. Here, how is this governance work? There is a team of
Mhm.
people that is dedicated, or there is a team of volunteers, or you are doing this through projects, winning projects, and you can make the team work. What was
Yeah.
the dynamic here?
Mhm. All they started as European projects. That's very clear.
Mhm.
But nowadays we are in a situation where there are a set of number of larger to very large European projects who are kind of still driving the core of the development around this. But it's also clear, and one of the key guys behind this or doing the development is companies. So
Mhm.
professional coding guys. ITEA, Cinetic, ThingWave, a couple of these smaller companies who are contributing. And in some of these cases, some of the companies say, oh, we have a need for this, but we are happy to release that support system. Just an example of that is something that we call the data manager, where you can have an one side at the edge database storing or data lake situation. Um, uh, and this is provided by the company ThingWave. Um, uh, and we have more examples of that, but we are not yet at a situation where we have a self-propelling development with uh, kind of a set of companies, a set of players that actually is fueling these developments with the necessary money to get the maintenance. But we are getting closer and closer, and many of the companies are engaged in this governance, how to set up, how to get this governance to run. So for an open source project, we are getting closer and closer to something which will hopefully then become sustainable. But
Mhm.
we are honestly we are not there yet, and uh, Arrowhead is not a single component. It's not like Apache or you. Jupyter Notebook or something like that. There is a set of components that's working together to achieve these possibilities, uh, and which means that we are a kind of a different beast than many other open source projects. But so
That's
far,
nice.
I think we are doing better than anyone else that is trying to do similar things.
Mhm. Yeah, this is great. Given the fact also that Arrowhead, it's also used a lot, or it's used in an industrial setting, having all these players like companies coming together, helping to the new releases, and also sharing with the others what they found. I think this is a great example of how the industry can collaborate in order to move forward together. We know that today we are version 5, as you said just a few weeks ago. We are at version 5. What is next? How do you see it progressing through the future? I think you started already to answer on the last question on sustainability. In terms of releases, there are some features that you already or the team is already thinking about.
Mhm.
So yes, what's how do you see, I don't know, the future in 1 year, 2 years, or let's say
Yeah.
on the short to medium term?
Let me start with what's the really new things in
Yes,
version 5.
yes.
And this is that we have really looked into the security parts and is enhancing this. And um, Arrowhead has a philosophy of being interoperable with a lot of things, and that means security interoperability as well. So we are in the reference implementations using X509 certificate thinking, but the new version is also opening up for people to use other schemas for authentication, for authorization, and there are means how to do that in the architecture. And this is also documented in a proper way, at least if you ask me. Um, the other part is that there is a growing effort around the engineering of any type of software development. The AI stuff is doing a lot of things. So there is work ongoing. How do we capture requirements into things that can be made useful within the kind of Arrowhead way of thinking? And that means that we are using LLM tools or developing LLM tools to capture requirements into model-based languages like SysML.
Mm-hmm.
And SysML is also then very much targeted for to create a domain-specific language that is capturing the whole Arrowhead architecture and the engineering procedure that we have developed in a couple of projects. And this is now in a fairly good shape for the SysML version 1.6, the old version. We are running this in courses, just as an example, and we are also then we're going to transform this to SysML version 2 this fall. We will have some key meetings on this in Paris early November, and the intention here is to move this domain-specific language to standardization through OMG, meaning that it will be available. It's already available on GitHub and the Eclipse Arrowhead space there as version
Mm-hmm.
6. And we hope that we will have something during the spring of 2026, which is both SysML version 1.6 and version 2. And connected to this is also how do we generate code from this model-based engineering, and how do we then verify that code? And here we have companies who are very much engaged in supporting that. So an engineering tool chain that is not only providing editors whatsoever, but providing a connection from requirements to model-based engineering to auto-generated code to auto-verified code. And this verification will then go over formal-based technologies. So a very strong support, in particular for domains where you have safety critical and where you need kind of product certification to actually get onto the market, like automotive,
Mm-hmm.
like aeronautics, those kind of things.
Okay, that's great. So a lot of things are coming to Arrowhead. Just a curiosity, because in several of your answers, you said a lot about security. So we know that now in Europe there is also a talk about dual use. Can be Arrowhead be used in some kind of dual use case?
Yes, yes, that's very, very, very clear that it can. I don't have personal knowledge whether it is, but I would expect that it is
Okay.
today, since we know that the military guys have been looking into the service-oriented architecture for years, and but they don't tell what they do. So
For sure.
but it's very clear that there is a dual use situation,
Okay.
and security is one of the good things, but also the extremely since many of the other software frameworks that you will find out there, they are always centralized in one way or another,
Mm-hmm.
and the only one which is 100% decentralized is Eclipse Arrowhead.
Okay.
And we have made a couple of analyses around that over the years, and we still see that this very decentralized and modular approach seems to be of clear interest. And if you compare this to internet with its kind of resilience thinking um, across the whole network, we are not claiming the resilience yet, but it's very clear that we have things in the labs where resilience from individual local clouds to a much more scaled up system of large number of local clouds and their kind of functionalities, internal functionalities, that this is doable. And from a kind of a principal architecture viewpoint, we see that we start to have a number of data sets together. Then we haven't seen, at least we are not aware of what has been tested at a couple of places.
That's great. So if we have viewers that wants to apply for the European Defense Fund or other type of projects, you are here to
Yeah,
get into.
I
And
know that there are European Defence Fund projects where companies are bringing these technologies in.
great.
That I know, but I don't know what they do.
Yeah, that's great. So
Yeah.
let's say I'm a company or I'm a developer and I want to start on Monday with some concrete steps. What I have to do, I don't know, what I have to install, or is there a smooth process? You talked already about the YouTube videos that it will be nice for me to watch. So yes, what are some steps for me so that next Monday I could get a glimpse into the framework.
Yeah, the YouTube was created just to support this type of thing, and then the GitHub site github.com/eclipse dash arrowhead is the source of these things, and in GitHub you will find both the version 4.6, which is there and will be maintained for quite some time still. But the most important thing is that the first core components of version 5 is there as well. It's a choice which one you should start with, but documentation is there, and there is also support channels. So there is a Slack channel where you can ask questions, and particularly the ITA company is supporting this. Otherwise, there is a number of university groups, there is a number of companies, and let's say that you are in a certain country, contact anyone you will find in the guys that you will find on GitHub, or contact me or my co-lead Pal Varga in Hungary, Budapest, and we can guide you to where do you have your kind of local nearby experts that can help you in these situations.
Mhm. That's great. That's great. It's great that you have like local contacts or ambassadors for Arrowhead, so that of course it's always easier to speak in your own language with somebody and to go to a beer and to invite them to your wherever you are just to talk, or to go to their place just to talk about it. So yes, from this point of view, that's great. It's called Eclipse Arrowhead because, as I understand, I have to install Eclipse. Yes, or no?
No, but we
Oh,
are we are under the Eclipse open source license,
okay.
ECL2.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that the kind of brand name and so on is owned by Eclipse,
Mm-hmm.
the Eclipse organization. So um, and this is why it's called Eclipse, and this is also helping from a perspective. Eclipse is doing a lot of things related to code checking, security checking, and license checking, which means that there should not be parts of what we do and what we release that someone actually then will come back later on and say, we need a license fee for this, which we
Okay.
think is we don't want to run into that, and this is why we are connected and working with Eclipse on these type of things.
Yeah, great.
And
Hmm.
yes, it's things are not super simple in this case, but I think Eclipse is doing a good job and supporting us on these things, which we really appreciate.
That's great, and I'm happy that I also understood that from this interview. So I'm going to have for you some lightning round with some short answers, or if you want to make them long, it's not a problem as you are a professor. So so tell me one myth about Arrowhead that you like to, let's say, demystify today.
That Arrowhead is damn complicated to use from the beginning, and that is why we have put a focus on this kind of installation deployment approach. I wouldn't say that we are 100% there yet, but it's very clear that this is becoming a lot better uh, uh, nowadays, and uh, that this is supported by tools, engineering tools, but also by documentation.
Okay. So Eclipse Arrowhead is simple, guys. So that's so don't think about it as something that is very complicated. Second, if you were to give me three metrics you care about in production when somebody is deploying Arrowhead. So if I'm a company and I'm deploying Arrowhead, what are the three metrics that you are going to ask me about?
Um, do you have real-time properties that you need to maintain? Yes, Arrowhead can handle that, and we can protect these parts of your production through the local cloud architecture approach, and running through hard real-time things there using internet technology is possible.
Mhm. That's great.
The other
That's
one
great. Yeah.
is that number two is that it's very clear that we have, I would say, a lot of evidences. Sometimes I would, let's say, overwhelming evidences that uh, if you learn this thinking a bit and uh, you will actually reduce your engineering costs. And that means that we are moving from design time engineering to do design time and runtime engineering. And that means that you can update, you can maintain your code, your installations to a considerable lower cost and spend time if moving this direction. But this is not, this is the SOA service-oriented architecture principles that's helping you for doing this. But I think that Eclipse Arrowhead is a very good example with one of the really better reference implementations that can support you in becoming more efficient, both from how to run your production facilities or your building facilities or whatever, and how to actually maintain those, build those, design those, and maintain those over time.
Mhm. Okay. Nice. One must read, so one book or article or whatever, before people start building. So what's the depth must read? Uh,
Uh, if you have want to get a little bit of update on what's the changes, the major changes going on in automation industry in general, the three first chapters of my book, as you mentioned early in the interview here, is probably a good idea to read.
Yeah.
You don't need to read all chapters, but the first three will give you the high level scope of what's happening in the industry on that.
Hmm.
Uh,
That's great.
and
I will put it on my reading list for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, and
And
yeah, one more. If you were to put a newspaper title to Arrowhead so that people will read about it, what will be like a title, like a big title on, I don't know, on a big newspaper that you have in your
mm, mm,
country that people will say, I will buy this article. What's the
mm.
title?
That's a hard one, but I'm not the advertising guy in that perspective. But uh, savings or reduce your engineering cost by double-digit percentages.
That's
Um,
it's a good one for a business newspaper. So,
and
Professor?
yes, a recommendation there. There is,
Yes.
I think this is the first video that's going to be shown on YouTube, which actually refers this is 90 seconds and could be a good example of such a news article.
Yes, that's great. So, professors, thanks for being with me today at this podcast. Links to start your Arrowhead journey and more materials and documentation are also on the YouTube channel where you see this video. And yes, go through everything and yes, start building with Arrowhead. Professor, thank you for this lovely conversation.
Thank you for having me here.